bearded man here. Is God real? No, thanks for asking. Well, until next time, be skeptical. Okay. That would be too easy, right? Well, maybe this guy has empirical evidence, a repeatable test, or a valid and sound argument for us to consider. I mean, maybe. Right? No? Okay. Let's listen. Maybe he does. You know, I mean, how many things can he get wrong, right?
Does God exist, or do you believe in evolution?
Well, there's a false dichotomy. Plenty of people believe in God and accept biological evolution. So, I what? Huh? What? I don't believe in biological evolution. I accept that it's true because there's overwhelming evidence for it. I know you don't understand that evidence. You don't like that evidence. You don't want to understand it. You don't want to learn about it. But yeah, that stuff's true and has nothing to do with whether there's a God or not. But starting off with a false dichotomy, okay.
Do you believe in the religion of evolution? Yes, it is a religion.
No, it's not.
Evolution suggests that we humans came from apes.
Not exactly. We and apes have a common ancestor, but we're still apes. Humans are apes. So we share a common ancestor, and it's not just a suggestion, it's a demonstrable fact.
The problem is that there is no observable evidence that apes changed into humans.
There's plenty of that, and there's plenty of repeatable tests that we run all the time to show that this is true. So you just don't understand science. Okay.
One kind does not change into another kind.
Ah, you're a creationist. So the word kind has no coherent meaning at all, and it's just a word that creationists use because they find it in their Bible. But the word kind has no coherent meaning at all, not even a little. So this doesn't mean anything. It just shows your ignorance on the subject matter of biological evolution and has nothing to do with whether there's a God or not.
Also, why do we still have apes around? Shouldn't
Because humans and apes both descended from a common ancestor. It's just like, America exists. Well, why does England still exist? All the people that came here were from England. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people, right? So why is there still an England? Because not everybody came. Some people stayed. So it's just not asking the right question. But again, your ignorance on evolution has nothing to do with whether there's a God or not.
they all have changed into humans by now?
No.
If you believe in evolution, how did you start believing that? My guess is that you saw an image of an ape slowly changing into a walking human.
No, that's not how I came to accept the insane amount of evidence that there is for biological evolution. That would be a very lackluster way to come to any belief by just seeing a single image like that. That's very low bar. There's plenty of books and peer review on this subject. There's plenty of videos on it. There's ample amounts of information about this subject online. And it's due to the overwhelming amount of evidence and information that there is that I accept biological evolution. Now, I don't understand it fully, others do. I understand parts of it, and I'm kind of ignorant about a lot of it, but you're completely and wholly ignorant on all of it at every conceivable level. And it doesn't take that long to find anything about evolution. But whether evolution is correct or not, which it is correct as far as I can tell, has nothing to do with God. But this is a false dichotomy that creationists use all the time, so not really surprised, but it just makes me doubt that your God exists, because if it's between reality and God, I guess I'll choose reality, which says biological evolution is real. By conjoining and tying your idea of God to evolution being fake, you've made your God impossible. Well done.
Somewhere in a science textbook. This is a lie, because there is no evidence of one kind changing into another kind. A dog does not become a non-dog.
Yeah, wolves are the things that became dogs, and they're still wolves. So how does that happen? And the various breeds of dogs that are available are still descended from wolves. But you can't mate a Chihuahua with a pit bull. So are these two separate kinds? You never see a pit bull and a Chihuahua have a baby. Why not? Well, because a pit bull's penis is too big for a Chihuahua's vagina, or vice versa. The penis of a Chihuahua is too small for the pit bull's vagina. In either case, they just don't fit. And even if you could get them to perform or get one into the other, they don't mix. They don't produce offspring. So wouldn't that make them a different kind, since kind says that they produce their own? So is poodle its own kind, or is it still a dog? That's the problem with kind, is it's ill defined. In fact, it's not even defined. But your ignorance on this subject matter, again, has nothing to do with God.
Also, know that when you hear or read the words millions or billions of years ago and far, far away, know that you're about to hear a fairy tale.
What? I think you're confusing the opening of Star Wars with reality. But if you're gonna say things like that, then know that when you read in the beginning, you're about to hear a fairy tale. Oh, doesn't the Bible begin with in the beginning? I guess it's a fairy tale. This isn't even an argument. This is a statement that you've made that has no basis in reality whatsoever. Those words do not always precede a fairy tale. So you're just wrong.
Because you can make anything up. Because if it's so far away and so long ago, well, you can't prove a thing.
Yeah, so 1,000 years ago, we can't prove stuff about that. So that means that your book is not something we can prove. And it was pretty far away, you know. So, I'm in America and I'm nowhere near Jerusalem. So that's pretty far for me. So, yeah, it's long ago and far away. So I guess it must be made up then, according to your idea. Whoops.
Also, we didn't come from a rock. Something living does not come from something that's not living. It's biologically impossible. Life
My brain hurts.
comes from life of its own kind, no changing of kinds. So humans come from humans, dogs come from dogs. That's
Brilliant observation. Life coming from non life. I'm not even sure what that means, but I guess he's referring to abiogenesis, and he doesn't understand that. But he doesn't understand evolution, so it's not really a shock. But his lack of understanding of these sciences has nothing to do with whether there's a God or not. His appeal to personal ignorance and appeal to personal incredulity do not help him arrive at his conclusion. He's just wrong.
It's just the way it works. Also, the fossils that were found came from the great sudden destructive flood during Noah's time and not over millions or billions of years like they told you.
Well, that's just not true. The fossils that have been found have been dated using various radiometric methodology and show us how old they are. In addition to that, we know that there's never been and never could be a worldwide flood. There's certainly been big floods, but nothing that is as grand as a worldwide flood. It's simply impossible. In fact, everything that we know about just about everything disproves it. There's human history that dates far back before that story was. There's all sorts of living creatures that shouldn't be living that would have been killed out. There's all sorts of things. We know that that didn't happen. So you're just making a statement that's not true. You're just hoping that people accept your claim without providing any proof of it. Do you have any proof whatsoever that there was a big flood that made all the fossils happen? And I don't think you understand how fossilization occurs. A big flood would wipe out evidence, it wouldn't leave evidence behind. So you're just wrong about everything. But please, don't let me stop you.
The flood caused fish fossils to be found on top of the highest mountains. Now, how did they get there? Obviously, because of the flood and the rising water, they ended up settling on top of these mountains when the water began to come down.
Yeah, they don't have a definition of life. No, you see, mountains didn't always used to be mountains. There's this thing called plate tectonics, which creates mountains. That's how come we have sea life on top of mountains. Also, birds are a thing, and birds, eat fish, and they might have carried them to the top of mountains and then eaten them there, and that's why we find some fossils that way. But nah, it's got to be a giant flood that we have no evidence of. Okay. None of this is proof of God, so.
Also, they found fish or animal fossils in positions of eating or giving birth. It was like taking a snapshot of that creature at that point in time, and they died instantly. And also, they found petrified trees running high through multiple layers of sediment. We've been told that those sediments are millions of years old. That's not true.
Yes, it is true. And obviously, you don't understand, well, anything. And this is just simple. Okay, so you have a tree that dies, okay, and then you have a layer of dirt, okay. Then time goes by, and this tree is still dead. Then more dirt comes. Tree's still dead, more dirt comes. Still dead tree, more dirt comes and buries the tree. Not that hard to understand.
Sediment all happened in a short period of time during the Great Flood. Unfortunately, you have been misled, just like I was misled.
Well, you've definitely been misled. Completely and fully 100% misled. Everything that you're saying is wrong in every conceivable way that it can be wrong. Your ignorance about science and history is amazing, but it has nothing to do with God. Your appeals to these events as if they are real have no support for them at all. Not even a little. All you're doing is saying that they're true. Fair enough, all I'm doing is telling you that no, you're wrong. But you had the burden to prove that you were right. There are no citations to anything in your description at all. There is nothing that you could cite from any reputable scientist on this to show that you were right. The only thing that you would be able to point to would be other creationists that also believe the nonsense that you believe. I cannot accept the God of the creationists because it tells me to deny reality. I cannot, will not deny reality. The earth is as old as science says, give or take a few years, perhaps. The universe is as old as science says it is, again, within a margin of error. Biological evolution is true. There's little room for doubt on that. That you don't like these things or don't understand them doesn't matter. There's never been a worldwide flood. It's just not possible. There's not enough water. And it would have killed everything. We wouldn't have been able to make a comeback after that. The small amount of people and animals that supposedly were on this box of a boat that couldn't be constructed and wouldn't float anyways wouldn't have survived as long as they did. And even if they somehow did survive, they would have quickly died off because there's not enough of them to mate with each other. And also, they'd eat each other and stuff. So, no, none of that's even remotely possible or plausible at all, not even a little. But you have been misinformed and you believe these things without offering any proof of these things because there is no proof of these things. And it's remarkably simple to debunk any of this stuff. So simple that I don't even know that I need to do any of it. That's why I'm just saying you're wrong. There's really not much for me to do other than say you're wrong. I mean, yeah, I could pull up article after article and cite peer-reviewed papers that show you that you're wrong, but you could always just ignore those papers anyways and say, well, they've been misinformed too. If you're going to decide that you believe these things without any evidence, which obviously you have, because if you had the evidence, you would present it, then there's nothing I can do to help you. But I'm making this video not for you, but the people that might listen to you. He's wrong. Absolutely wrong. And no scientist agrees with anything he says at all. And many of those scientists believe in God. So you can accept modern science and still believe in God.
They use the same strategy when they make rat poison. Did you know that rat poison is made from 99% food, which is good and safe to eat, and then they add 1% of poison in there? The rat eats it thinking it's food, and then later it dies. Our science books use the same strategy. What they do is they put 9 truths in the science book, and then they add one lie called evolution. And
wow, a literal poisoning of the well. He just described poisoning of the well fallacy and then proceeds to do it. Amazing. Although in this case it's poisoning of the rat. Actually, we don't just make rat poison in that way. There's plenty of ways to poison rats. So, he's wrong about that. And he's wrong about them lying in science textbooks. There's no reason to lie in books. Well, there's reasons to lie in books, but what motivation would we have to put things in science books that are not true? Why would we do that?
And people assume that it's all true, but it's not all true. It's just a trick. What
Can you prove that?
they're trying to do is get rid of God so they can do whatever they want without consequences.
How do you know that? How do you know that that's what they're trying to do? Do you have any proof of that?
By getting rid of God, they get rid of right and wrong and justice.
How does having evolution get rid of God?
Because those things came from God. Moral laws came from a moral giver whose name is God.
Moral laws come from humans, which name is humans. You can believe that they also came from God and or that God originated them all you want, but until you can demonstrate that that's true, we have to be skeptical of that idea. Do you have any proof of any of this at all? No? Okay.
If you don't believe in God, then how do you know what's right and what's wrong? Do you?
Because other people have said what's right and what's wrong. Because I've learned through observation what's right and what's wrong. Because dealing with other people means that I have to deal with them in ways that extend their existence and extend my existence. And doing so optimally requires that I have behaviors that are productive towards them in hopes that they will do the same to me. It doesn't always work. There are plenty of jerks and assholes out there. But, you know, you just don't deal with those people. You walk away from them. And their survivability is going to be lessened because less people will want to be around them because they're being assholes. So they'll kind of Darwin themselves out eventually. Now, some assholes can put on a pretty good show and appear not to be assholes, so they wind up reproducing anyways. So, you know, what are you going to do? Anyways, morals exist because humans made them. But they might also exist because God also made them, or God set them up and humans made other morals or something like that. But you need to prove that there's a God, and you haven't done that. Asking, well, how do you know what's right or wrong? I answered that because I observed what's right and wrong, just like you did. That didn't get me to God.
You just invent it yourself? And if so, if you say that murder and rape is right and good, then is it right and good? Obviously, it's not.
What? So murder is interesting because it's a definitional thing. If you declare any killing to be illegal, then it's murder. It's only murder when it's illegal. So if I kill somebody and I did so accidentally, that can be ruled an accidental homicide and not murder. But if I kill them deliberately, that's illegal and thus is murder. If we decided that killing deliberately wasn't illegal, it wouldn't be murder anymore. So we could define out of existence murder, essentially, because murder only is murder when it's illegal. So if we made all killing legal, then there's no more murder. There's just killing. So there's an interesting get around of that. As far as rape, that's not a good thing at all, because it hurts both people and it hurts them in psychological ways as well as physical ways. And yes, both people are affected by it. The victim, maybe I guess I would say they're probably more affected than the person that's perpetuating it. But the person that's doing it, there's something wrong with them too. And them doing it makes that worse, not better. So they're hurting themselves in a way. Not as much as the victim, probably. I'm not, I'm no expert on how much people are hurt in what ways psychologically or how you would add up the numbers or whatever. But yes, everyone is hurt in that scenario, and it's not good, broadly speaking. It doesn't help us to thrive in an optimal way. But none of that requires God to exist for us to come to that conclusion.
Also, racism came from evolution.
No, it didn't.
Adolf Hitler believed in evolution, survival of the fittest, getting rid of the sick, elderly, or weak.
That. Yeah, Hitler also believed in God, so I guess we shouldn't believe in God. And also, that's eugenics that Hitler promoted.
The Holocaust came from an evolution mindset.
No.
Essentially, evolution, if you break it down, is evil illusion, a harsh and cruel process.
Wow. I got nothing on that one.
People choose evolution to get rid of moral accountability, but the truth is it doesn't. You're still...
No, evolution is just a fact, and there's still a moral accountability that I have to my fellow humans. These things aren't mutually exclusive.
You're going to be held accountable for your actions. Evolution gives you a way to fulfill your primal instincts like lying and stealing, fornication, lust, and hurting others.
Speak for yourself, homeboy. No.
You love sin and you don't want to give it up. So basically...
Wow, you just know so many things about me magically somehow.
Basically, you're just an animal.
Well, we are animals. And as far as sin goes, that's a made-up concept. As far as I can tell. Do you have any proof of sin being real at all? No? Okay. Just keep talking. It's great. I love it.
Getting rid of God, they get rid of love and truth because that comes from God.
Love comes from other creatures, not just humans, because other creatures can love too. So you're wrong?
God is love and truth.
Just saying stuff now. Lobster is love and truth. Laud is love and truth. Read the Lobsterist. Debunk the Lobsterist. I dare you! This guy would never debunk the Let's leave a comment. Hold on. Debunk the Lobsterist. I dare you! Maybe he'll do it. Yeah, that'd be great, wouldn't it? Anyways, how much wrong can he be? Let's keep going.
Now, the opposite of that is the father of lies, who is Satan, the devil.
Satan is a construct of the church, doesn't actually appear in the Bible, and if you go to the original translation, you'd actually see that. The problem is that these things have been filtered over time and changed dramatically to fit a certain narrative. The character is a tester and not a Satan. Satan comes later. The devil is invented by basically theology. It's not really in the Bible. But if you knew anything about the Bible, well, then I'd be surprised. But, that you have these ideas about the Bible doesn't really surprise me. Anyways, yeah, maybe you're full of Satan since you're lying so much to us about everything.
Without God, you and I have no value, no purpose or meaning. We're just rubbish that can be discarded.
Oh no, how terrible. Without this, we're just this. If X isn't true, then Z bad thing must be true. Therefore, X can't be true. Oh, the humanity. Appeal to consequence. And in this case, it's not even a justified consequence because he's just asserting that this is true. But if there's no God, then whatever is true is true. We exist and we matter to each other, if no one else. So that matters. I matter to myself, if nothing else. So, you know, um, even though at the end, we might not even know that we existed anymore because we just don't know anything, that doesn't make this moment any less meaningful. I mean, it matters to me now. So I don't know. I just don't have this sort of nihilistic outlook that theists pretend that we have.
So, does God exist? Let me give you 10 reasons why God exists.
Oh, finally, we're getting to 10 reasons. Not evidence, not arguments, just reasons. This is going to be stupid, isn't it? Oh, yeah, here we go.
Number one, something caused the beginning. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, that was stupid. I knew it was going to be stupid. I didn't know how stupid it was going to be. Something caused the beginning. We don't know that. Sorry. The Planck temperature just says no to all that. Any idea that you have about the origin of the universe, put it aside. We don't know. We don't know. We have no idea. We just have no idea. Sorry, that's how it is. But you could just say stuff apparently, and so no, nothing caused it. It always was. There was always a singularity that always existed. Everything was always there, and it was always there because time wasn't even a thing yet. Until it started to move, there was no space either. It was just that forever. And then all of a sudden it started to move, and then there was time and space at the same time. Well, what made it move? We don't know. It just did. I have no idea how any of that works. Neither do you. But you can keep asserting stuff because, well, that's all you can do, I guess. But whatever. Just okay. So things have to be caused. Okay, so that means God has to be caused then, right?
The science law of cause and effect essentially says that something came from something, not
something came from something. That's a science law of cause and effect. A science law. But you said that they put in a lie in the science textbook. How do you know that cause and effect isn't a lie that they put in the textbook? And then you're basing your conclusion on a lie. How would you know what's a lie and what isn't a lie in the science textbook? You don't know. You said that there was 9 truths, but you could be wrong. Maybe there's only 8 truths and 2 things that are false. One of them is the law of cause and effect.
Something came from nothing. You cannot create something from nothing.
We don't know that because we don't have a nothing to look at. So we don't know how nothing works. And really, the only people that say that the universe came from nothing are theists. Us non-theists, we don't know. We don't make any claims in that regard. But, if I'm to think about the idea of nothing, if you have a true nothing, then there is literally nothing to stop something coming from that nothing. There's no rules that say that that can't happen. So you inserting the rule that something can't come from nothing, you don't have a nothing anymore because you have a rule now. So either you have a true nothing, in which case you could have something come from it, or you don't have a true nothing. Because what you have is a rule that says something can't come from this thing that I'm labeling incorrectly as nothing. So which is it?
Creation is proof that there's a creator.
Circular reasoning is circular.
You see a building and you automatically know that there was a builder.
Reality requires a realtor. This is just grade A material, man. I can't even get mad at it. I really can't. I would love to get mad at it and get really irritated, but I just feel bad for the guy. I mean, the amount of ignorance on display is just stunning.
Now let's look at the word universe. Uni means one and verse means verse. Where do you find a verse? Well, you can find a verse in a song, but you can also find verses in the Bible. And the first verse of the Bible is Genesis 1:1. And it says, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. In the beginning, which is time, God created the heaven, which is space, and the earth, which is matter. And John 1, verse 1 to 3 and 14 says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God.
I'm sorry. I look at the word universe. Okay, let's do that. Let's look at the word universe. All right. So, uni one, you got that right. Verte, turned, combined into one whole. So one turned into a whole is universium or universe. So he's wrong about what the word means. Why am I not surprised? The word verse. It's like, it's like, it's, I mean, I can't. It's like this. It's like this. I mean, it's kind of like this. This is the level that we're at now. Okay. So. All right. Here we go. Let's get to it.
Oh, Lord.
What down?
Name something that follows the word pork.
You pine.
You pine. You pine. That follows pork. You pine. That's the level we're at, my friends.
The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that.
You're just saying stuff. I mean, I might as well read the lobsters to you. We could just say stuff at each other. I mean, I can read from the lobsterist, and it's all, it says things that like this, but it doesn't make it real. It doesn't make it true. Stop just saying stuff. Prove something. This isn't a reason. It's a nothing. You have nothing.
Was made. And the word was made flesh and dwelt among us.
Uh-huh. That's
full
nice.
of grace and truth.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Now let's look at the word history. If you break that down, it's his story.
Oh, God. It's his Tory, not story. It would be high story. H-I story. So it'd be high story, not his story, because it'd be his Tory or it'd be high story, but it couldn't be his story or it'd be HISSTORY. Anyway, so learned, wise man, inquiry, narrative account. So that's what it means. That's what it actually means. That's what it actually. But look, his story or high story. His story would be that. That's what that would be. You idiot! You just stop. Why?
Well, whose story is it? Jesus' story, of course.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Number 2.
Then why isn't it his Jesus? Jesus. Let's see. Us. Oh, us. us. Jesus is us. I can do it too. Us. Jesus. Is us. Jesus is really you and me. It's in the name. Us. Jesus. Us. Wow. Wait. God. G-O-D. Let's see. God. Odd. 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 So something is odd. Now, to be odd means to not be even. Even. The EVAN. Yes, the EVAN. The electronic vehicles are predicted in the Bible because God, see, evangelical. Oh, so you'd be a true evangelical if you drive an electronic van. Otherwise, you're not an evangel. See, it all makes sense now. Oh my goodness, it's so amazing. Oh my word, what other words can we do this with? Help me out, Shan. Let's see, B.S. Lewis. Let's see, Bush Lewis. Let's see, business, Lou, carry my Lou, my darling. So it's a song. Okay. So business song is. Okay. So obviously his name means business song is. So that must mean that he has a business doing songs. He's a songwriter. And a captive disc. Let's see. Cap. That's the thing you wear on your head. So head. Tiv is like a sieve. Yeah, so thing you wear on your head that's like a sieve, that would be like a strainer, like you put noodles in, you know, they have those holes in them. So that's what he's talking about. So the strainer thing, see, and then desk, let's see, SK, serial killer. So sieve, serial killer. Captive Desk is a serial killer. Oh my God! It all makes sense. Yes, it all makes sense. Oh man, what else? Scott Duke. Let's see, ska is a type of music. Ska, you know, and then ta. Well, that's titties. Dookie, like dookie, like stepping in something. So titties, but shitty titties. So Scott Duke is somebody with really shitty titties. Why not? Wait, I'll do me. D converted. Let's see, D's nuts. Yeah, because I'm nuts. And then I'm conning people into being verts, which of course stands for vertimites, yes, like the show Invincible. The vertimite are the really powerful guys that want to like take over Earth, and then Tid of course means whatever the hell, I don't know anymore. Man, well that means M-N, I don't know. It's Anne, yes, the girls. So it's actually I'm conning people into being girls. Yes, it all makes sense now.
The cause of the universe has to be outside of time, space, and matter. Just like the creator of your computer or mobile phone is outside your computer or mobile phone and not inside it. God is not affected by time, space, or matter because he is outside that dimension. He is outside of the universe he created. He's unaffected by the universe. No one created God because he wasn't created. He just was and is now. He's the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. To create.
So God is static. God is unchanging. God can't learn anything new. Nothing is, everything is the same with God. God never changes. Interesting. So in the Old Testament, there was this test that they did on God. It was between Yahweh and Baal. And they set up two altars. And they're like, hey, Baal, light this altar on fire. Nothing happened. And the other guys were like, hey, God, light ours. Boom, it was on fire. Now, I don't have an altar here, but, I mean, you know, if God doesn't change, then this test should be valid, but I don't have an altar to light on fire. I'll just use this blue sheep. It's pretty flammable, I'm sure. So, hey, Baal, light it on fire. Okay, that didn't work. Hey, God, light this on fire. Yahweh, light this on fire. Nope. All right, well, I guess God did change because he decided that that wasn't good enough.
Something, you need a time of creation, and God doesn't exist in time.
I thought that these were reasons for God. They stopped sounding like you stopped even counting at this point. You don't even have a number anymore. You're like, here's a reason, and I don't know what number this is. Is this the fifth reason? The fourth? I don't know. You don't know. I don't think you know. This isn't even a reason. This is just stuff that you're saying. You're just saying stuff. That's not a reason. None of this is a reason that there's a God. These are just things that you're saying. You don't know what reason is.
He's outside of time. God took a piece of eternity and called it time, and he put you and me in it.
You and me in it. You and me in it. You mean it. You mean it. You mean it. You mean it. Oh, it all makes sense. I love this new way of thinking where you just make words into other words. This is great. If anyone clips that thing that I did, that rambling stuff with, I don't know, where I made people's names into others' names, I want that clip. So give it to me.
Number 3.
Oh, that was 2? That was 2? Oh my God, that was number 2? That was number 2? That was number 2?
Is held in a perfect position to sustain life. If the earth was closer to the sun, then everything would burn up and die. And if the earth was further away from the sun, then everything would freeze and die.
Let's see. Let's see. The Earth could be a few million kilometers closer. Uh-oh. My screen turned off. That's not good. Get back on there. What the hell? Uh-oh. Oh. Yeah, technical difficulties. Please stand up. I can't see my screen. My screen has gone dark. Why am I not receiving a signal? Well, my computer's on. Okay. I'm still there. It's just I'm not seeing myself. This is bad. Okay, so all right. I'm having major difficulties. So basically my screen is off. So that's great. All right. Well, we're doing this, I guess. Why not? Not gonna stop me. Yeah, I can do it. So let's see. Could be closer, could be further away, and we wouldn't die out. Let's see. 0.38 closer. 0.09 to 0.1 AU. So we could be marginally closer or further away and we'd still be fine. So, you know.
So, who do you think is holding the Earth in the perfect position?
Gravity.
God, of course.
Oh.
Number 4, Earth's gravity could have been any number from 0 to infinity, but it's exactly 9.8 meters per second, which is perfect to keep us grounded and able to move using the muscles we were given.
We weren't given muscles. Our muscles formed, but yeah, if it was heavier, then we'd have different muscles, and if it was lighter, we'd have different muscles. But this is just, it's just. Oh my goodness.
Number 5, can you believe in something you can't see? Of course you can, because you believe in gravity and you can't see it, and you believe in air and you can't see it.
Yeah, but I can test gravity and air. Can I test God?
So you can believe in God even if you can't see God.
Can I test God like I can with gravity and air, though? If I can't, so I mean, I already tried and it didn't work.
Number 6, life is complex and works, so it needs to come from an intelligent designer or creator.
No, it doesn't. I mean, life being complex actually is an argument against a creator because it could have designed it to be far simpler. There's a lot of things that can go wrong.
When you look at yourself or nature or the world, you know that there was an intelligent designer or creator because
No, I don't.
it's so complicated and it works. Otherwise, that wouldn't be possible. Look
at the trees. Say it.
at your body, for example.
Uh-huh.
How complicated that is. Look at your eyes. How do they work? And your heart that beats 100,000 times a day without you even thinking about it, and even when you're asleep.
So you don't understand how things work, therefore God. Yeah, so God of the gaps. Got it. Maybe I can get my screen back. Come on, screen. Why are you not working? Why? How did this happen? Why did this happen? I want to fix it. There, I fixed it. I'm back. Ah, what? Okay. I'm a professional. All right, whatever. I mean, he keeps going like this. I don't know. I mean, yeah, that was fine diming. Yes, it was fine diming instead of fine tuning. It's fine diming. All right, so I'm done with this guy. He's just gonna say more stuff that's not reason or evidence or anything at all. I mean, we know that. So does any of this prove God exists? Nope. The thing is, look, to try to give the benefit of doubt, even though it's not deserved, I get it. It's hard to understand stuff. Okay, the world's a complicated thing. We're made out of these tiny things that we call molecules, which are made out of atoms, and those are made out of electrons, and it's pretty complicated. So it's easy to come up with an idea or to latch onto an idea that you think explains all the complicated stuff, and that idea for many people is God. And fine, I don't care, as long as you don't also deny reality while you do that. And this guy, sadly, has fallen into the creationist camp that doesn't believe in evolution, that thinks that, that doesn't understand abiogenesis, doesn't seem to understand history or anything about anything, doesn't understand the Bible. That doesn't surprise me, though. A lot of people of faith don't know what the Bible actually says. They haven't done the research into it to find out what it's really saying. And there's been research done by people to show that there's no Satan in the Bible, that's a concept that came later. There's been things to show that there's multiple deities in the Old Testament. El Shaddai and El are different, and Yahweh is different. These are different entities that are all labeled as God. Much effort was made to make it monotheistic from polytheistic. And the Christians then, of course, add more complexity to that by adding the Trinity to the idea, which, of course, the Trinity is also not really in the Bible. It doesn't say the Holy Spirit is God or anything like that. Jesus doesn't really say he's God. He kind of hints at it, though, maybe. But, yeah, it's not really clear. So if you wanted to actually prove God, there's really only one thing you need. It's God. The arguments that we've heard here definitely don't even qualify as arguments. They don't even meet that threshold of what an argument is. And they certainly aren't sound because of that. He doesn't have a valid structure, so he can't have a sound argument. None of this is empirical evidence at all because he doesn't offer us any evidence. None of this is repeatably testable, and everything he said is scientifically in error. He gets science wrong, and he gets the Bible wrong. I'm less concerned about the Bible. If you want to believe in God, again, I kind of understand that because it's taking us humans and imagining a bigger, more powerful human. We humans can make stuff. So couldn't a more powerful human make us? God is abstract to that degree. God is an abstraction of a human. And people will say things like it's unaffected by time and all this. No, but it is. It has to be. Otherwise, if it was an actual entity, then it would have to have some sort of time. Otherwise, it couldn't do things. But it doesn't matter because all of the ideas about God are just more ideas coming from you or coming from your theology. But if God's a real thing to be discovered, it seems to me that we have yet to discover it, not in any meaningful way. If discovery comes from these ancient textbooks about religion, then there's not enough time, and I don't have enough energy or desire to read all this to find God. Maybe God is in each other, in that we treat each other as if the other person was God. So if you think you need to love God, then love the other person. Maybe don't worship them, but certainly respect them. Try to understand them. Try to cooperate with them. And that includes not insulting people, not saying labeling everyone that disagrees with you as a bigot or a racist or whatever insult is out there. Let's not do that to each other. Yeah. And, recently on Facebook, I asked somebody, they said that we're living in the worst times. And I was like, what do you mean? And they immediately asserted that I was part of the MAGA cult. I'm like, I just asked you what you mean by that. What kind of weird how did you even make that idea come about? Like, first that you think MAGA is a cult, that's a separate problem, but how am I part of this? And then they said, whatever I say, you're just going to say this thing. And I'm like, well, you've decided what I'm going to say for me. Let's not do that to each other. Don't decide what I'm thinking. But many times apologists will do that to the atheists. They'll say that, you just want to sin. He said that in this video. You just don't want to, you want to sin. That's why you don't believe in God. That's why you picked evolution. It's just because you want to sin. Because he's inventing a reason why people accept something that he doesn't accept. But that reason that he invented is an invention. And you and I can do this too. We can invent reasons that people do different things. Why not just ask them? Stop assuming that you know somebody's mind. Why did you do that? What was your motivation? Let me understand you. Maybe we won't agree, but at least we'll understand each other. And that's something. God as a concept is interesting. But if you want to show that God's an actuality, you're going to need empirical evidence, a repeatable test, or a valid and sound argument. And we definitely had none of that here. So because of that, we should be skeptical of his conclusion. And until next time, we should stay skeptical of all the things. And after next time, we should still be skeptical of all the things. Also, his comments are hilarious. I encourage you to read his comments. He made most of them, and he includes my favorite, that he doesn't have enough faith to be an atheist, meaning that faith is bad, which means that I should be a skeptic, which I am, which also makes me an atheist again. So I'm not sure how that works, but whatever. All right. Yeah, and of course, if you really want to get away with sinning, then be a Christian. That way you can just ask for forgiveness. All right, that's all I got for you this time. At least I found a video to do, so that's good. Too bad it was this video, but,